So I'm standing in front of the Bed of Roses quilt, which is perfect for pre-cuts, particularly the 10-inch layer cakes. It was designed by the lady from Laundry Basket Quilts called Adita Starr. She does, if I'm honest, make a real meal of the cutting instructions. So I just wanted to share with you the really super fast cutting, which will mean that you can get to make the quilt really super quick. You need to think about one 10-inch square of fabric per block. So the quilt behind me is 20 blocks, so you need 20 squares at 10 inches. Layer them up because you don't want to cut them individually. You want to cut at least 2 at a time. I've got 4 here, and I've thought a little bit about the colour sequence. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this is a new range in from Lewis and Irene. It's part of their Christmas range. So I'm going to make a super quick fast quilt this weekend. So layer them up. You'll find that our pre-cuts come with straight edges. If you buy them from some of the manufacturers, they've got crinkly edges. But the process is the same. You're going to put your ruler on, if you're right-handed, and you're going to cut 2.5 inch strip off the left-hand side of this set of squares. So the 2.5 inch line of my ruler is here. Take my rotary cutter, even pressure down and away. Turn the whole board, don't turn the fabrics. You want the fabrics to stay put. 2.5 inches in again, make sure it's lined up on all 3 sides. Side 2, side 3, and side 4. Now I'm not going to worry about these tad bits that extend beyond, and we're not going to worry about seam allowance, because what's going to happen, I just explode this, that seam allowance is going to be identical on all of your blocks. So all your blocks will be the same as each other. If you are fortunate enough to have more than one sewing machine, do not change the machine you sew these blocks together on. It will change the size of your block, but it's great for beginners. Now, with each of these plates are a block, but we obviously don't want the same fabric. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one, I'm going to do a really super quick shuffle. I'm going to take the rectangles and put them on the bottom. So I've taken the top rectangle and popped it on the bottom. And there is my first block. So the little squares are the same as the big squares in terms of fabric, and the rectangles are the same as each other. It gets sewn together in rows, the little guys onto here, these onto here, this onto here, and then the verticals. So you do that as many times as you want to make the blocks. So having sewn all those little bits together, you will have made several blocks. Now, it really doesn't matter about your seam allowance as long as they're all the same as each other. And your finished size, so each of the blocks will be the same as each other. And you're going to lay them out. This pack made 20 blocks. So I've laid them out, so I've got 4 across by 5 down, just in a pleasing manner. You do have to watch the seam allowance, the seams that actually come across here, so they would pin, so that it gives you a nice look. And it's I nestle my seams, I don't open them, I nestle them so that I get a nice sharp join there. So having made the center medallion, then I've added 2 borders. This is just from the Bumbleberries collection that I felt really lifted this. It's approximately 1.5 inches finished, so it would be 2-inch cut. And then I've added the final outside border. Again, just sort of cut with the amount of fabric I had. This looks to me like I cut it 5 inches, so it's 4.5. So that's a really simple quilt that we made with the Lewis and Irene range of fabrics. You can make it with anything though, and you don't have to start with 10-inch squares. So what if you had some lovely 5-inch squares? They work just as well. Just think about this. From our pre-cuts, you get 2 squares in every colour. So one of these squares would be your centre, and the other square you subdivide to be the 4 corners. And then you find something else to be these bits, So we've got 2 in this colour. You divide on the a rectangle, and again here. So those are your 4 bits here. So you don't have to start with, as I said, 10 inches. This is a lovely 5-inch pack. There's Christmas Annie Downs. And if you're a member of the Pre-Cut Club, you're going to get these through the post. Yes, these work for this pattern too, because you've got this, just as I said before, your 2 5-inch squares form these sections, and this, just find another one that you like with it, and you're going to cut 4 pieces that by 5 inches. So that makes a block. So you can mix and match from your 5-inch squares and your jelly rolls. It's a really versatile pattern, and I hope that you'll get a lot of fun using the pre-cuts.